comparison. Hello everybody, Tom here. I hope you're well. This video was inspired by a friend of mine who made a very important point the other day. Is that we can't compare somebody to another person. And I think the idea is we're all individuals. And circumstances in the past may reoccur as a reoccurring theme. That doesn't mean that you can compare your current circumstance to something before. Even if it's similar, it may necessarily not be the same. And I mean this in terms of a person, okay? I will elaborate. My friend said you cannot compare your current partner to one of your exes. And I agree in some respects, because you have to be able to read a person from a situation and both ways, okay? It has happened to me, whereas I've been in a relationship and that girl was adamant because I did something that her last boyfriend or one of her previous boyfriends did, that I was like him. When in fact, I was nothing like him. It was just that the action or the thing that triggered that in her head was actually just by coincidence similar or the same. It doesn't mean for 1 second that I am anything like him. And equally, he's nothing like me. And the importance of today's video is that we recognise people as individuals, and we recognise circumstances sometimes can repeat, but that does not mean for one moment that we are going to then have to compare that person to the other person and look at those situations and those circumstances and go, right, okay, so and so did this to me in the past. So and so has done this to me now. Well, how does that one stack up from that one? Is it like comparing, I don't know, apples and pears? Is it like comparing the sun and the moon? We do this all the time. We get stuck in the moment and believe that we cannot read the person from the situation. Let me tell you now, it's a very dangerous game, because in your head you're creating a scenario or a narrative where you've probably had a negative experience. You're recreating it because that's something that that person's done or said has triggered you to believe that is happening again or going to happen again. And then you're unfairly labeling that person the same as someone else that you've been with before or had an experience with before. And therefore you are ultimately pushing that result to happen again. You're fueling that fire, and in a way you're almost anticipating that's how it's going to play out, when in fact you don't know how it's going to play out. The best thing you can do the next time somebody does something similar or acts in a certain way that reminds you of somebody from your past, whether that be a friend, a work colleague, and if this experience is negative, you can't then label that person as the same. Please understand what I'm saying with these words. Learn to read somebody from a situation, not from someone else. Don't believe for 1 second that they're the same. Even if they've done something and acted in the same manner, they are not that person. Okay? It's very important that people in relationships, whether that be friendships, close friendships, romantic relationships, understand. Yes, as the phrase goes, once bitten, twice shy. If someone does something against you, of course you're going to be aggrieved. And of course you're not going to be keen on repeating that situation. But instantly when we see or are triggered, we jump to the conclusion that we are going to have the same circumstances again. And that person is exactly like the other person. When in truth, it's rarely the case. Food for thought. Please think and consider. Guys, third and final video of the week. I want to say thank you all ever so much for listening. I really appreciate the time and energy spent on my channel. Thank you kindly. The third and final video, as I says, please put down in the comment section below. Have you ever been in a situation where in the past you had a negative experience, that person did something you didn't like or did something to you to upset you, whatever, you then have years down the line somebody else in another situation, they do something similar that triggers that thought, and then all of a sudden this unfair comparison builds. We must learn to treat people as individuals and recognise that even if circumstances are similar, it doesn't mean for 1 second that person is the incarnate of the other and that they're going to do exactly the same thing and that the situation's going to play out. We're a little second guessing with this. Please, if you would, consider to hit that subscribe button down below. I'd be really grateful. And also, consider giving me a thumbs up and a like if you like this episode. And please hit that bell sign so you know my next content's out. I will be back in a couple more days next week with another three. Until then, please take care of yourselves and bye for now.